Hello and how are you? My name is Mahin Mbarak and I welcome you to our 20th video of learning how to master Flutter user interfaces. In our today's video, we're going to cover different topics. Among the topics that we're going to look at are the pickers, toasts, and then progress bars, and many more things that we're going to cover in this this lecture. So I hope you're ready to do this with me. If you are, then let's get started also in my time. So as you know, we always do 40 minutes. As you can see, our counter has started counting. So without wasting much time, let's go straight and see what we're going to do today. So we're going to begin by looking how we can create date pickers. For example, if you have a user interface and you want to allow someone to maybe enter their date of birth or collect any kind of date, we're going to see how you can create such a kind of a thing where someone can pick date from what? From the calendar. We're going also to see how someone can pick time. Let's say that you want to collect time. We're going to see how someone can pick time from the clock. And also we'll go ahead and look at progress bars, such as this progress bar. We'll see how we can create a progress bar like this one, which is progressing on top, this list progress bar. We'll see how you can create a progress bar like this one. When you scroll, it shows down. So we have a lot of things that we're going to cover. So without wasting much time, let's go ahead and start doing the real business. So as you can see, I've already started the application that we always use for practice. Maybe I should increase on font so you guys can see things clearly. Maybe let me increase on font. I think the font is already okay. Alright, I think there you can see things clearly. So this is the application that you always do. That you always use to practice with. If it is your first video, I recommend you to watch our previous video so you can be on the same page with us. However, if you want just to watch this one only, it is also okay. There's no problem. You can still take it from here. You just simply download that project, the starter project that you always do, and then you take it from here. Alright, so what we're going to do right now, we're going to create another section for pickers, and then we see how we take from there. So what we're going to do, I'm going to go to the home page or the main screen, which is this one. We'll come to our main route, and then in this main route, I'll go on top. I'll then go ahead and copy this and paste it. I'll call this one what? Or pickers or date picker, whatever. Okay, and then I'll save. I should be able to see the change. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the link for the date picker. So I'm going to come here and call this one date picker, like this. Let me first stop Copilot. Right, so after doing that, I'm going to go ahead and do it and create a special page for the pickers. So I'll come there, come here, and then after reaching here, I'm going to create another section or another folder for pickers. So I'll come to screens and then say directory. I'm going to call this one pickers. So in this one, we're going to put date picker. So I'll come here, right click on this folder of pickers, then new, then I say file, and this one I'll call it date picker screen.dat. Okay, so that's our date picker screen. Okay, so let's go ahead and create our scaffold. So I'll just simply say stateful, and then I paste there the name, which is date picker. I go ahead and press Alt and Enter in order to import the package, and then I can remove this one for now, or I can remove this constant. Okay. Alright, so after doing that, I'm going to connect this date picker page with our what? With our main page. So I'll come back to the main route, which is this one, and then remove this screen and put what? The date picker screen. I import it, and then I save. So now if someone clicks here, it should be taken the date picker screen. When I click there, I'm on the date picker screen, and you know there is nothing there. So to save time, I'm just going to follow the one that I'd already created, which is here, and routes, and pickers, and and a date picker. Alright, so we're going to begin by creating a scaffold. So remove this placeholder and put scaffold. Okay, after I'll go ahead and import this scaffold. Then after importing the scaffold, so the next thing that we're going to do, we're going to put there the background color should be white. Just come here to the picker itself. So I'll come here and then I make it white. So the background will be the scaffold with a white screen. Alright, after doing that, I'm going to give the up bar. This should be just a normal up bar. You can as well create your own. Let me import it, and then I'll have my up bar. So I believe everyone can be able to create this up bar at this level. Alright, so I'm going to give this, I'm just going to center and then put the what, and then put the text. I'm sorry. I'm going to create a column. I'm going to create a column, okay, and then in that column we are going to put the date that we shall be picking. Okay, so let's go ahead and create here some column. So it's going to be the body of this scaffold. And then on top, I'm going to put the date that I'll have picked. Okay, so just simply come here and I paste it here. I'm going to explain. Okay, so this column will take children. Okay, so in this children, I've just simply put a container that is having alignment center, width to infinity, height of 45, and then color of gray. And then in it, I have a text as the child. Let me import this. Okay, as the child, and then there is a text date. Okay, the date that I'll have picked. So the date I'll have picked is going to be just a simple string. Okay, so I can just simply come here and create a simple string. It's just going to be a variable called date. Okay, so I can come here in this class and I create a variable called date. So it's going to be string called date, and I can put maybe NA or no date. Okay, so if I save, I'll have that string there, okay, which is no date. Alright, so after doing that, I'm going to put this button that I want someone to click on so they can be able to see what? So they can be able to see the date. Okay, so I'll just simply come and create an elevated button. So I'll come here in this column and add the elevated button. So I can explain this. It is just simply elevated button that is having a style of elevated button dot style form, and then it's having elevation of 0, a shape of this, and then this padding. Okay, and then the background color is my colors dot accent. You can also put your own color. Okay, so I import this color dot accent, and then it has a child called pick date, which is the child of this main button. So on press, there is a function that I'll be calling. For now, let me first remove it. Okay, so when someone presses on this button, so I can put here, maybe if I want to center it, I can put here spacer, and then I put also spacer in the bottom of it. So I'll end up having it having it centered. Alright, so I want now when someone clicks here, you should be able to see the date picker, or the date picker should launch. So I'll come to this elevated button and I put on press listener. So when someone clicks on it, you should call that function that is going to launch the date picker. Okay, so this is the function. It's called just show dialog. Okay, I'm called maybe show dialog, or I can call it show date picker. Okay, let us create that function that will be called. All right, so I'll come here outside this class. Okay, then I've called it show date picker or show dialog picker, or you can call it anything that you want. It will be accepting the build context. Okay, so inside it's where I'm going to write the logic that will launch a calendar. So to launch a calendar, so you can just simply first create selected date. So you say selected date equals to. So this selected date is going to be a variable that I'm going to define as selected date. Okay, like this. Okay, so you say late future, and then you define it like that. Then date and time, and then say selected date. So this is the default selected date. Okay. So this date, we are going to do what? We are going to say show date picker. So say is equals to show date picker, and then this show date picker is going to be, it is a Flutter function that is going to be responsible for launching the calendar. Okay, so this date picker will go ahead and it takes the context. So I'll come here and open and put the semicolon at last. So the first thing it takes the context. Okay, then it takes the first date, the initial date. So the initial date is the date that you want to start with. So I can say it should begin by showing the current date to be the initial date. Then it takes the first date. So the first date is the date below which you don't want someone to select the date below that one. So I can say date time 2000. So it means that someone won't be able to select a date before 2000. Okay, then I can go ahead and show the last date. So the last date is the date that you don't want someone to select beyond it. Okay, then I'll go ahead and create the builder, and then this builder, it takes the theme and then the kind of data that you want to display, whether it is a red light theme or that. You can do that in this builder. You can pause the video and see how I've created it. So this one will be able to launch the date picker. Okay, so I'll go ahead and add a listener on that date picker. I say date picker dot then. So when I put then it will be able to wait for me, for the date picker to finish and do what, and give me the date. So it's date picker dot then. So when you write just date picker, let me write it afresh here. Date picker dot then. So it will give you a value that you do what, that you'll have to collect the date from. So you can as well put here your own bracket or the normal function. So in case there's an error, let's say you want to listen to an error, you can just simply come here and put a comma, and then you listen to an error like that. So in case someone selects a wrong date, or in case someone does not select anything, you can put the error in the console. So if in case everything is okay, the date that is correct, it will be given to you as a value. Okay, so I can say if this value is null, let's say that the date is equal to null, or the value that has come, I just simply go ahead and return from here. So if the value is not null, I'll go ahead and initialize the other date that we created. Okay, so you say date equals to this function. I think I did not share it with you. So you can create this function. Let me show it to you. This function will accept an integer, because this data will give you a timestamp. Okay, so it will accept an integer, and then it will be able to do what, to return to you the date in any format that you need. If you want the month and the day and the you can be able to convert that date. But if you want the timestamp, you can just be able to get the milliseconds epoch. That one will be able to give you the timestamp. So let me remove these tools. So this one will convert the date to the string, and this is the format that you can use to any day that you want. So after doing that, after setting the date, remember this is the date that we created here. You'll go ahead and do what and say set date. I mean set state, so it can update. So by doing like this, you'll be able to achieve the date picker. Okay, so you can pause the video and then you look at this function properly. Okay, and then be able to understand it. So I'm going to call it now. So I'll come to the button here, where the button is, and then I call it when someone clicks on it or when someone presses it. I'll go ahead and do what I call it. This button takes context, so I'll give it what? I'll give it context. So you see, when I click pick date, it shows date picker. If I cancel, there's nothing that is done. So if I say pick date and I select the date, you see the date is selected. Okay, pick date, select the date is what is selected. All right, so that's how you do date picker. Though there are some other package that make it really much more simpler than this. Okay, so you can go ahead. For example, I don't want someone to pick the date before today. Let's say that you want to make a system where you don't want someone to pick the date before now. So it means that here the first, the first date should be date time dot now. Say dot now like this. So by doing like that, it will be able to do not allow someone to pick the date before today. Can you see? I cannot pick third, I cannot pick first. Okay, even if I go back, I cannot even allow to go back. You get it? So that is how you can do the. So if you want also to lock the top side, let's say that maybe you don't want someone to pick after maybe 3 days. So I can say date time dot maybe add, is it add days? I think. Okay, this one does not have that logic. You can say maybe all right, this is going to be wrong. All right, so you can do the logic of getting the next date and then don't allow someone to do what, to pick that. So that one will not allow someone to pick the date beyond 2024. I mean 2023. See, so this is the last date and then this is the first date. So you can play around this in order to validate your date and maybe avoiding users from picking the wrong dates. So that is how you can implement the what? The date picker. That is how you can implement the date picker, and you can convert the date to any date that you want. This is the timestamp. In case you want the timestamp, you collect this one. All right, so let us proceed and see now how you can achieve the time picker like this one. If you want to pick time, okay, you want to pick time using Flutter. All right, let's see how you can achieve that. So since date and time picker, they're almost the same UI, everything's almost the same. I'm just going to duplicate this screen and I change it to what? To time picker. All right, so I'll come here to our screens and then I'll come to this particular screen, which is date picker. I'll copy it and paste it, and I'm going to call this one time picker screen. Okay, and then I'll come here to where there's date picker screen. I'll select all and press Alt and 8 and paste it there. So I'll come and change the title from date picker. I mean, so here from pick date time or date, I put pick time. Okay, so I'll come here and change the title from date light. I'll just say maybe time picker. So I believe everyone can do this, duplicating a screen and then renaming it. Okay, so after doing that, I'm going to add this screen now in our what? In our main route, so it can be linked. So I'll just simply come there and then duplicate that and then go ahead and put time picker as a title, and then I change this to time picker screen. So by doing like that, when I come back to our home page, someone should be able to see time picker. So when I click on time picker, it should be able to show me the time picker, though this one's going to be the time instead of what? Instead of date. All right, so let's see how we can achieve that. Come here to time picker, I already have it. All right, so the first thing, instead of putting date, I'm going to put selected time. Okay, so I can just come and change this one. So instead of putting date, I can say maybe selected time, and then I can say no time selected. Okay, and then I come and I substitute it here. Okay, and then after I come and remove everything in this function. Maybe let me remove everything in this function so I can create a fresh function for time picking. All right, so we have our simple user interface that is going to allow us to pick time. All right, so let's go ahead and create a function for picking time. I'm going to copy it and explain it. Okay, so this function is going to allow us to pick what? It's going to allow us to pick us time. Pick time. So I'll go ahead and create this variable for the time picking. So you just simply come here and create this variable and call it time of a day. You create it like this, okay? Time of day. It's the data type that will be returned. So after, you just simply say this function, you call it, you create it, and then say selected time. You call this as selected time equals to show time picker. The other one has show date picker. This one is show time picker, and these are the parameters that are taken: the initial time, and then it takes this theme, and that's all. Okay, then you put also dot then, and then you do the same thing that we did in the previous example of date picker. Okay, so for each here we're just getting they give you the time, and they give you on each time they give you the hour, and they give you also the minute. They can even give you the what? The second. For example, if I come here, I can just simply say even seconds. I can be able to get it. Okay, so after collecting the hour and the minute, okay, second of course will always be the net because it does not pick seconds. I say I update this time, this one that we created here. I say time equals to value, then string, then I put hour and minutes. Okay, so after doing that, I go and call this method. Okay, when it is being called, I'll come here to this button and call it from here. So it means that now someone should be able to do what? To call it. I'll have to give it context, and then should be able to launch and allow someone to pick the date. Pick time. So if I come here, pick time, it picks time. Okay, so begin with the now time, and I say okay, it updates. Okay, so only that I didn't see that thing of PM AM. Let me see what else this value carries. Okay, so it has hours per period, minute period, and period offset, and then the format that you want. Yep. Let's see what this one has. So you can convert it to PM or AM to your own. Okay, so this is the hour of the day, the 11th hour of the day. Okay, so in case you want to use the PM and AM, you can use that to convert using the hour of the day, whether it is the 11th hour. So by default, it gives you the time in what? In 24-hour clock. So that is how you can pick time and collect it in any way that you want. So I hope you've understood that. I hope you can now be able to do what? To implement those two. Okay, the date picker and the time picker. All right, so let's see how we can do one more thing. So we've seen how we can implement date and time pickers. Let's go to progress bars. So these progress bars, they help us to show the user something when the progress is being when the process is happening. Okay, so they will help us to display, okay, that something is downloading or something is going on, other than just leaving the user with a what? With a screen that is stuck without showing anything. All right, so let's go ahead and implement these progress bars. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a new screen that we're going to call progress. So we'll come here to our menu routes, and then create another section that we're going to call progress. Let's see if there's any relevant icon. Okay, all right, so if we come back to here, we'll be able to see our progress. So we're going to begin with the basic progress. So just simply come and copy this and add it here and call it basic progress. All right, so in here, I'm going to put the logic of being able to click there and then you see the progress. All right, so we are going to create a new screen for the for the basic progress. Let's create a new section, a new directory for progress. And then in that directory, I'm going to put new. I'll call it basic progress. That can say basic progress screen. That. Okay. So let's go ahead and create a stateless widget, stateful widget. Paste there the name of the class, and then I import it. Just a minute. All right, so after creating that, I'll just come and remove this. Okay. All right, so we'll come here and connect this one with our main screen. So when I click on this progress, it should be able to take me to that empty screen. All right, so let's go ahead and do the basic progress. Okay, let's go ahead and do the basic progress. All right, so we're going to put a our scaffold. Okay, and then we import it. We're going to put a white background and then the up bar. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and create the body that we're going to give a container that will have a child. Now this child is going to be a column. Let's give this body some padding. So it's going to be of 20 also it's going to be a column. That is going to have children. Alright, so in those children, let us first align everything to center. Right, so we're going to put now our primary this one the determining the primary or the basic loader. Okay, so this is just nothing but plain text where we are targeting the main progress block, what we call primary progress. So inside there, in there, we're going to put now maybe a container that's going to separate it from the top one, and then after I'm going to create a container. This just okay, this container is just going to help in padding or giving the height of that. Otherwise, if you don't give it the height, then you don't be able to control it. So I'll go ahead and give it height of 5. Okay, and then I'm going to put what we call linear progress. Okay, so it's going to have a child of linear progress indicator. That is a widget by Flutter. Okay, so if I save, it will be just like that. It will just show that there is progress. Okay, it can show that there is something that is progressing. So let us see how we can control it. Okay, let me first give it color. So this is how we give the color. So if you want to put the value of the color, just say always stop animation and then you open color in square, and then you put here the color that you want next to it. For example, I'll put my primary color, and then the background color, you just simply background color and then you specify the background color. So like this one, like that, you'll be able to do what? To have that kind of progress bar that is moving always. Okay, so now let's say that you want to control it. Okay, let's say that you want to control it. So if you want to control it, you have to give it what you call a value. Okay, let's say that you want to maybe show the download speed. So you have to give it value and give it a what? Progress value. So this progress value is nothing but a variable that we just created here that is going to do what? To control that is going to control the what? Our progresses. Okay, so I'll come here and create that variable. Okay, so I'll come here on top and create that variable. Okay, so it is just a double, the value just a double that has this progress. So if I save, now you see the progress at 0, 0, so I mean that it's really at 0. Okay, so after I'm going to create this update progress function that's going to be responsible for updating the progresses. So this can be your own kind of function that is going to be fetching maybe data from internet and then be able to display the user, okay, the progress. So this is just a function, it's called update progress. It's nothing but just a simple a simple function. So inside that, I'm going to put a timer. So this a timer periodic, it will be able to do what? To execute a certain it will be able to execute a certain function periodically after a certain period. Okay, so you just simply come and say inside this function and say new timer dot periodic. Let me first import it. New timer dot periodic. So it will take the duration. How long do you want it to do what? To delay before it executes again. So I can put here duration. You write the word duration capital in beginning the capital letters is just a class, and then pass milliseconds. So you can even pass seconds here if you want to, like if you want it to execute maybe after 1 second. So I can as well pass what? Seconds. Right? Let me put here semicolon. So it will be executing this something that is inside here after those seconds that we'll have specified up there. Okay, so inside those seconds, I want to get the progress and give it a +2. Okay, so this progress is going to be plus or equal to 2. So I'm increasing it by 2. Okay, and then after I want to do what? I want to say progress value. If it is more than 1, it should do what? It should come back to 0. Okay, so that is how it's going to keep loading if it reaches 1 and comes back to 0. You see, that's just a simple logic that I'm creating. Then after, I go ahead and do what? And the set state. Hope this set state will be there. Alright. Sorry, the set state. Okay, the set will be was up. Okay, so I go ahead and do what? And update the state. So this function, I want it to be called only one time. Okay, so you know things that that you need to call one time. You know where to put them. You have to put them inside init state override. This one. Okay, so that function will be called at the beginning of the execution. So this is just a timer that's delaying for 1 second, and then increases this first progress with 2, and then it checks if the progress is more than 1. It's supposed to increase by 0.2. It checks if this progress is more than 1, then it resets it back to what? To 0. So by that, it will be able to wait for 1 second as it is increasing. When it is more than 1, it goes back to 0. Hope you understand that. So I'll save, then I go back and I open this page afresh. Okay, so when I click on basic progress, you can see it is loading after 1 second, and then it goes more than 1, it goes back to 0. Okay, so that's how you can do. So this can be your your progress, maybe to the download, something like that. Okay, so the whole point is your progress should always be less than 1 in order this progress to be able to do what? To show you the progress. So it is, if it's less than 1, when it reaches 1, it will be considered as what? As a full. So here I'm checking if it's more than 1, I just set it back to what? Back to 0. Okay, if I want maybe to be faster, I can maybe come here and say milliseconds. Okay, milliseconds, maybe I can say maybe after 200 milliseconds. Okay, so let me say after 100 milliseconds. Okay, so I'll have to open it again in order to start afresh. So you can see it is really fast. Okay, so I can open it afresh again. You see, so you cannot even see because milliseconds are really small. Okay, so I can keep it there maybe after, like if you want to delay after maybe 2 seconds, you can as well do that. Okay, so this is just to give you a simple overview of how you can implement these progress bars. So let's go ahead and implement these other ones. For example, this one is called intermine primary. So this one will keep on just loading without doing what? Without stopping. Let me show them to you so you can be able to practice them. So we have the progress bars. Let me show them to you because our time is up and I want to finish this. So you have these progress bars. It's just the same. This one, the one that the determine progress bar, is that one that will be showing in steps. Then you have this one, intermine progress bar, this linear progress, and then say put always stopped animation, and then this one will always be what? It will always be like it is not stopping. This one, the second one. So you can pause the video and then you look at this one. It's just the same logic. This one is having the second value, so this is how I create the second value, and this is how I update the second value. Okay, it's just the same logic, but this one is for what? Is increasing 1 by 1, not 2 by 2. Okay, so for this second value, it is increasing just by 0.1, not by 0.2. So you'll be able to achieve something like this one. Then circular progress indicators is just the same logic, the same one, but for them it is called circular progress indicator. So you can either use the linear or you can use the circular progress indicator. You can pause the video and do what, and practice all of them. But simply, those are the basics. Those are the basics of what, of the progress indicators. So you can implement them in this kind of way. Let's say that you want to make a list like this one, and you want maybe to show the indicator. You can show an indicator like that one. You remember, if you don't specify the controller, it will not be able to do what, to stop. It will just keep on loading. So you can do something like this. Okay, you can do something like this. All right, so you can also do something like this. Can you see what, something that is loading on top? So according to, from the example that we have done, you can be able to challenge yourself and implement it like this. In this, I'm just showing you how you can implement those progress indicators in different ways. I believe this one, you can do it. Just put there on top and then try it out. All right, so you can as well, this one is a refresh indicator. I think we already looked at it, that one, in some video back. So let's go ahead and look at these ones in the next video. Let's go and have a break of only 4 minutes. So 5 minutes, after 4 minutes, so 5 minutes past 5 minutes to 10, we should be back and resume with what, with more content. So let's have a short break and then we come back for other content. So immediately at 5 minutes to 10, we should all be back from the break. Let's have a short break.